All right, we will come to order. This is the Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee meeting. It is Monday, April 24th, 2023. Jana, could we have a roll call?
Craig Miller,
Here.
Ed Fisher, Stephen O'Connor,
Here.
Ray Frankenberg, Bob Ingeman,
Here.
Bill Stratman,
Here.
Aaron Hagedorn,
Here.
Joe Homemeyer,
Here.
Sandy Lucy,
Here.
Elby Eckelkamp, Bill Miller, Tim Brinker, Chad Briggs, Jeff Niemeyer, Darren Lamb,
Here.
Charles Stankovic. Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, as is normal, we need the approval or the review of the approval of the minutes for the March 27th meeting. Any questions, changes, additions, deductions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a
Second.
second? And a second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. First item, Amtrak.
We did have a MORPAC meeting here last week. I don't know that there was a ton of new information, but still good information. They, I guess Missouri, May 5th, they'll finalize their budget. They believe that their Amtrak funding is in the budget and is what they need, and so far seems to be going through just fine, so that's good news, including some inflationary raises there, so that was positive news. They're completing their work on what they call the Federal Rail Authority Corridor Identification Program, which I talked about a couple times ago, where they're just looking for expansion of Amtrak in our areas, like to Kansas City South and things like that. So they have submitted their applications for those corridor identifications. They will announce corridors they're interested in September and October. So who knows what we'll see or hear back. And then the next step from there is feasibility studies and economic impact studies that they go from. So they're hoping that the third train was part of that corridor identification program on our River Runner and a couple other things around the state to expand that service. So September and October, they should hear some answers back on that. Good ridership numbers. They're seeing a 19% year over year in this quarter ridership and revenue increase, so that's good news. They continue to have some delay problems, but customer, I guess, awareness tracking says they're doing a great job because everybody seems to be happy with it and ridership seems to be up, so all that is good. Some of the delays that were caused were just mainly construction and some freight train delays, but you may have seen down here, I know I have at work, they've had tie gangs coming through and they should finish up their work in April 24th. They apparently replaced some 169,000 ties in our corridor, so. They're still tracking the arrival of some new cafe and business class cars and announcing them as they come into service. I don't think we see anything here for a few months, though, for that. So that was what they talked about at that meeting.
Very good. Good report. Thank you. Any questions, comments for Craig? Hearing none. Highway 47, Missouri River Bridge. Anything new?
I have nothing new.
Nothing new.
The only thing I have is we did get from Tim Hellebush, let me know back on, get the date, I think it was the 13th, either the 12th or the 13th, that they're under the 15-day test period for the lights.
Oh,
So they had worked out the bugs at least enough to go ahead and start that test period. I have not heard any problems with it since. But after that, just so everybody knows, I know we've talked about it extensively here, but the one-year warranty, Alberici is responsible for a one-year warranty then on the lights after that 15-day test period. So, lights are working.
and Alberici's on the hook for 1 year, just for any type of maintenance.
That's correct.
What kind of maintenance other than,
What kind of maintenance would be? If the light goes out, then we don't have to pay for it as a city.
I understand, that,
Alberici does.
routine maintenance or whatever. There is none, I guess. Any other questions, comments about that? Hearing none, Highway 47 Corridor Committee. Betcha. Jim, what's going on there?
Morning.
Morning.
The corridor committee did not meet over the past month, but I will give you an update on the Highway 50-47 intersection and that project there.
Good.
On the county portion of that, which is the roundabout on 47, we are in the process of coming to agreements with the right-of-way acquisition. Those offers have been tendered to the property owners. On the union portion of that, the right-of-way acquisitions are in process. Additionally, the engineers are getting permission to do soil borings where the bridge piers would be. They need to establish where bedrock is along the Burbus River. That's an ongoing process, and that's where we are with that right now.
How about the environmental? Has that been done?
The environmental's all done.
All done, and that's been,
Everything's been done
Satisfied.
and cleared environmentally.
yeah, that we had clams or something. in there.
No snail daughters.
They did all those tests on everything in the water.
Very good, and that's done and
Hey.
completed and up to speed where it should be, as far as we know.
Those are all clear.
Very good. Thanks, Jim, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Any other questions for Jim? Hearing none, we'll move on. Franklin County Transportation Committee? Is that what I just did?
I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, the Franklin County Transportation Committee is in the process of sending out the grant applications. We normally do that the end of April, first week in May. So we'll be preparing those and getting those out to all the entities involved. And at the last meeting, we extended the offer to help anybody. We have some new members, so we extended the offer to do in-house help with those people to get their grant applications taken care of.
Super.
So that's where we are right now with the grant applications.
All right. Yeah, any more of the small communities? Basically, that's what we're talking about, the smaller
The
communities.
smaller communities have joined, and they are members now.
Very good.
So hopefully we can help them like we help the larger communities like Washington Special Road District, City of Washington, Union.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Next item on the agenda, the 50/50 MoDOT grants.
Yeah, the only thing I will add is, as you know, what we've reported in the past, we've got an application into MoDOT for the Highway 100 improvements out by Oldenburg Industrial Park. We did get word that the committee made a recommendation in favor of doing 100% funding on that project like we had asked for, like we had requested. So it's my understanding it goes to the commission, and you said, Steve, in May?
In May.
In May. So, anyway, other than that, that's all I have to report. It's good news that the committee made that recommendation, and so we got some other work for the EDA portion of it within that we're hoping we hear some word back from EDA this month or before the end of this week, I guess. But the big portion of it, or a large portion of it, was those Highway 100 improvements.
Do you think it's, would be a good idea for some of the people from Washington area attend that meeting, the commission meeting?
I don't think so.
personally think it is.
I mean, I'll leave that up to Stephen, what he thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
hurt.
if it would help or not, but
Where?
We could certainly go ahead, and the mayor and myself or whatever, and Sal maybe could go ahead and attend.
I mean, they do it all across the state, and I
I know
don't
they
think that the one in May is local. I think it's somewhere
Yeah, where is it?
outside of the area.
Oh, okay.
I could find out.
You can find out where it is, and then we can make that determination if we
Yes.
want to go to that. Okay. And that is how much, 1.6? 1.6 million for those improvements.
I'll tell you, I want to know so I can go, okay? So I think it's important. Just let me know.
Okay.
Number 6 on the agenda, MoDOT Northeast District, Warren County. Anybody from Warren County here today? No, not hearing, not seeing anyone. But, you know, we talked about the causeway. I think the minutes of the last meeting reflect, you know, we're not going to drop it. There is activity now that there's going to be some borings and whatever to identify things that are going to happen possibly in the future. I think John Nilgis, we're going to miss his input because he was basically the person who had really taken it to the next level or got the next level of the possibilities of what could be done, doing some of the, getting some of the hydraulics. And that's in the minutes from the previous meeting. And that was basically a first step, so I think at this point, we'll just keep it on the agenda and keep it in front of Steve, and you guys know what's going on.
I think we have a new arrival. I don't know if there's anything.
Oh, yeah, we've got our representative here today, and we also have Teresa, right? Yes. Teresa, good, great.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying, I was,
So, not a lot has happened. I want to make sure I got the date right. So, not a lot of movement has happened since the last month. We do have our Warren County, our Boonslick Area Transportation Advisory Committee meeting, and that is on May 18th. And that will be in Warrenton. And I know a couple of you had expressed interest in being, excuse me, included in that. So I will make sure when that notice goes out next week that you are included and get invited to that. So the causeway remains on our high priority needs list, and we will be reviewing that list at that meeting. So
fantastic. Where's that generally held? At the commission?
that's at the Boonslick Regional Planning Commission office there in Warrenton on Steinhagen. It's across from, do you know where the Methodist Church is and Orseland's? It's right on.
I've been there, it's just hard to find.
Well, I won't, I'll send you, it's a little, yeah, it's a little hidden back there.
Yeah.
But I'll send you directions as well.
Very good, thank you. That's on the
Balloons
18th.
out on the mailbox.
Pardon? We can do that, out on the stop sign there.
Okay, very good, Teresa, thank you. Thank you for the information in that meeting. Washington Special Road District?
The only thing I do have to report, we are going to have an agreement that goes forward with the council, I believe, at the first meeting in May. They want to do phase 2 of their improvements out there on South Point Road, which would go from, I believe it was just south of the first entrance into Stonecrest or whatever, but to pick that up and then take it on out to North Goods Mill Road. So there's portions of it that the city will go ahead, but the majority of the paving work will be done, if not all of it will be by the Special Road District. Because most of that street, or the roadway out there, all of South Point Road is in the county still. It's not within the city. But we are going to do some milling work as a result of that as well, or pay for that portion of milling work to be done. And that agreement's going to the council on May 1st. So I don't know when they anticipate going to construction, but my guess would be this summer.
Very good, that's movement.
What's that?
That's a movement. You resolved some more issues, I guess, huh?
No, we're working together.
You've been working together?
Yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
That's what I meant.
Yep.
Any other questions about the Special Road District? Hearing none. Old Highway 100 Bridge? Probably nothing new on that.
Nothing new.
Is it?
It's out there.
And we're just kind of waiting to see who the entity that's going to do the study, I guess. Is that?
Yeah, we've not even,
engineer been?
we don't have a consultant on board yet,
Okay.
but it's 2026 project, so.
Yeah,
It's out there ways.
yeah, okay. They got to study it before they can build it. Airport.
Work on the hangars is ongoing. It's under construction. I think John reported to you last month. There was a significant lead time for the building, but it's under construction. The only other thing I would have to add on airport, there will be a discussion on the hangar lease fees in front of council on May 1st. So there was a recommendation from the committee on what those leases should be, and so we'll get that out to the council for their discussion first meeting in May. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions? Anyone? Airport, we got it, airport. Team Track?
Nothing
Anything
new?
new? Nothing on Team Track? East-West Parkway?
We have had some, I guess, I could put a graphic up. We do have some movement on, we're working with Northern Star, the course camp essentially, or whatever, on the portion down there that runs from Beaker. They've got a subdivision that they're adding onto. As some of you probably know, they purchased the Clay Camp Farm, but they're also purchasing portions of, if not all, of Roger Koch's farm. And so down there, that's a portion of where our East-West Parkway would be located. So council at the last meeting agreed to go ahead and move forward with an agreement with them. Essentially, the city purchased 8.78 acres, which would include the road right-of-way for that portion of the roadway. We would also do the construction of the road. I think the initial construction, 40 feet wide, is that correct? I thought it was 40 feet wide, and I'm trying to remember how many linear feet. It would get to their first roadway that they have going, that would go north up into, towards the Clay Camp Farm, go through Koch's and go up to Clay Camps. So this is significant. I mean, this is a big thing that the city's done to go ahead and purchase that amount of right-of-way and have this constructed. And so it's literally, I don't want to say it'll be constructed halfway, but the right-of-way is almost half of what you would need between Beaker Road and South Point Road. So that's a significant step. And I think construction this summer. They'd like to have it done by September, correct? Yes. I think it was something in the agreement. I don't remember the specifics, but it'll be this summer. So. And then the other portion of the roadway, I'm sorry, Craig and I were talking about, there's the portion on the High Street extension, which is also part of the East-West Parkway. That is under construction. We were talking about, I don't know if they've paved a portion of that. I know the curb and gutter works in. So that connection into Autumn Leaf Estates is crucial. We've been waiting for that for a long time as well, too, and that's almost open.
That's amazing. Darren, down there by the Koch farm, and there's a bridge, very old bridge, two old bridges down there. It looks like Arch Bridge that they preserved. Will we have to build a new bridge for that outer road?
You're not on this portion of this stretch. If you would continue to go to the west, there's a portion where you're going to have to cross that creek.
Okay.
But that is identified on those plans that CMT did back in the late 90s.
That bridge is like a cousin to the one that's on my property.
Yeah, right.
It was
Probably
like
built
it
at
was
the
the
same
same
time.
builder at about the same time,
Yeah.
and mine has a date of 1904 on it, so. Yeah, so that's 100 plus years, the bridges that sit there. Well, that's great, that's great. The East-West Parkway actually is becoming reality. I mean, it's happening.
I told you we wouldn't forget it, Bill.
I know you did. That's why you keep it on the agenda.
I know that's your trick, Bill. Keep it on the agenda, and then it gets done.
Next item, the East-West Gateway 2050 plans. I know those are tough to.
I was at the executive advisory meeting for East-West Gateway last week.
Oh, good.
I believe there is a public comment period that's coming up in May. We'll get that date out to you when that comes. I thought it was in Union. You know, Tim?
I'm trying to dig it up on their website now, but that needs to be caught up by the.
I think in Franklin County, I think that the location was going to be in Union this time for any public comment on the plan or whatever. I thought it said Union Farmers Market or something. Is there such a thing? Yeah. Okay.
And I would ask Warren County to do the same thing on that 2050 plan. I don't know whether you guys are aware of it, but as a sister county to us, what MoDOT, not MoDOT, but East-West Gateway is asking for comments on what we could expect for 2050, all right? And that's kind of, that's looking forward as much as basically they want to look as to what you see in the future. And it's always good to get your comments in there. I remember 30 years ago or whatever, whenever we put everything in the book we could get into it. We wanted a new bridge. We wanted 4 lanes to 47. We wanted 4 lanes to Highway 100. We wanted it all. And now we got it. Now, if that was a result or not, it's done. But it got into a report. It got to be, and it couldn't be overlooked anymore because it was in a plan, a proposed possible plan. So I would encourage Warren County to dream of what you'd like to see for your area.
We'll definitely take a look and add comments.
Very good, thank you. Public transportation, Teresa, go ahead.
Report first.
For the Mo rides, it's a statewide coordination effort, coordinating people who need transportation with transportation providers. We have both a call center as well as a website, so I have numbers on the call center. We've received over 500 calls so far since January in 2023, and 13 of those have come from Franklin County, and we've had the same number from Warren County for this year so far, this calendar year. So it continues to be a service that residents do utilize.
Yeah, Teresa, and to the following point, that you're Boonslick Regional, so Boonslick Regional has been asked to do the same thing as East West Gateway is doing. So I'm not sure how that, since you're coming on to the Boonslick Regional, that's where it should originate, what your plan is for the county of Warren. I'm
So-
just thinking out loud here, because East West Gateway, of course, is the portion that includes Franklin and the other counties, but I'm sure they're looking at a master plan for the state or for whatever. But a notice of this, the 2050 plans probably came through Boonslick.
So the 2050 plan, my understanding is East West Gateway. I mean, they're our partner,
Yes,
organization.
but-
I mean, we
but,
we
the
partner
sister-
with East West Gateway on
Yes,
projects, so
you do, so whatever.
Right.
You got it. That's, yeah, you got it.
absolutely.
Very good. Thank you, Teresa. Wow, any other business?
I would say, there's a gentleman here, Mr. Grimm, that would like to go ahead and address you. We had a meeting,
Yes.
Sal and I had a meeting. He's looking at the possibility of a bus route in Washington, and so I told him to certainly come to this meeting, and he could address, at least introduce himself at that time,
Good.
so.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Grimm, and I own a shuttle service in Sullivan, and I'm wanting to propose a city bus service to operate in this city and to take care of people that get to work and doctor's appointments and such on time. And I was wondering if you guys might have any interest in that at all. I don't know how you guys feel about the city public service like that.
I think we've had public transportation on the agenda for the last 25 years.
I'm sorry?
I think we've had it on our agenda for the past 25 years.
Well, that's good. That's good.
We keep waiting for you to show up, and now you're here, so.
Yeah, I know we
Are
need it.
interested? I think we would be, yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm kind of hard of hearing. I couldn't
That's all
understand what
right.
you were saying.
So am I.
I know, me. I think I've been married too long. No offense, anyway. But yes, I'm definitely interested in opening a city bus service. I need to know what you guys think about it.
We'd be interested.
Need to work out?
We've talked with Mr. Grimm the other day about the fact of looking at what's the goal, what are we trying to serve, how many buses, give us a plan as to how much it would cost for that, all of those things. And then we could present, if we did get some type of plan of, like I said, an annual cost of what it would be, then we could go ahead and take a look at the feasibility of the city participating or not, et cetera, and entering into an agreement if we wanted to do it. So, but those are the first steps that we asked him to go ahead and see if there's any way that the city would participate.
Greg, what's the name of your company? I saw a bus outside that had a different
Yes.
transportation on it, and I. Sure, just name recognition. Sure, I can give it to everyone, thank you. Shuttle or us, good, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shuttle or us?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
I believe you have one, sir.
Thank you.
So again, I've got some small estimated, amounts, and it's very estimated. I mean, but I have, anyone's welcome to look at it, or rather me read it off.
Do it.
Go ahead, okay. Okay, I would probably start with 3 city buses averaging of $10,000 each. I'd need 6 full-time drivers and 1 on-call driver, an accountant and a mechanic, and I'm planning on paying the driver 16, 15 hours to start. On an 8-hour shift, 2 shifts, from 6 a.m. to about 10 o'clock at night, running 3 buses around. Excuse me, and I'm estimating the trips to be, I'm right at about 8 miles each way. So that'd be 16 miles each way. And at the current cost of fuel, it'd be $5 to $10 round trip currently, unless gas goes up, of course. And then we've got mainly just the folks who would need it. Of course, you know, the elderly and the people need to get to work. That's what I'm looking at.
How many people are you taking care of in Sullivan, in the Sullivan area, if that's the area where you currently live?
We do mainly, most of our work is through Veterans Affairs. So we do service the community because that's what we started with. But our main source of income is Veterans Affairs. So we work through VA and pick up people out of southern Missouri and take them up to VA Hospital in St. Louis and Jefferson Barracks and things like that. And so as far as the local community, we don't do a whole lot. There's just not a lot of call for some reason. I don't know I guess with the economy being the way it is. Now before COVID, we were doing really well. And then after COVID hit with everything going up, you know, a lot of people are on fixed incomes and, you know, they just say, I can't afford it, you know. I mean, groceries are high. I don't usually go shopping because it shocked me the other day when I went and looked at a dozen of eggs. I was like, holy simoleons. But it's not, you know, people are having a hard time getting through, and that's one of the main concerns about keeping the cost down as far as this city bus. That's, you know, so that's my main goal, is to get people transported at a reasonable price so they're not taken out of their budget, you know, so much.
Would you have a specific route, or would you be
Yes,
on
yes,
call?
No, it'd be specific routes.
Okay.
Is what I'm looking at. We're starting with the 3 city, basically they'd be 12 passenger buses. There'd be 3 12-passenger buses because they don't require a commercial driver's license. So once you get into 15 and 24 and bigger one, you gotta have a CDL. So it's easier to hire people with, you know, that you just run 12 passenger and it'd be, and like I said, as I said, 8 miles was an estimate. I don't know.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you see any overlap with the OATS program in the county?
On the Oats, I don't really, I mean, I bought buses from Oats, but I don't really know much about their program.
Okay.
I mean, I think the way I understand, they're mainly through Medicaid and Medicare. I don't really know what they do. But I have not taken the opportunity to hook up with Medicaid or Medicare to bill, you know. And that's unfortunately has limited my transportation. Because like I said, a lot of people are on Medicaid and Medicare, and I don't bill those. You know, for my current business, I am strictly cash. Now, I have other ideas as far as the public transportation here. I was thinking more of like weekly or monthly bus passes. So that way the driver is not, you know, doesn't have a bunch of cash laying around. That's never good. So anyway, so that was one of my biggest things. You know, a lot of things, like I said, with the public transportation, you got to have something. Passes is what I'm thinking, and 38 to 70, I think $74, $78 a month for a pass. They can drive, you know, run the routes as much as they want during the month. And that'd keep their costs down, but still be enough. I mean, you average, if I'm looking at the census from 2020, I think it was, you have 6.78%, 6.6 or something like that, poverty. And that's, unfortunately, that's what I would be dealing with is the lower income folks who, you know, can't afford to buy a car. And that's what I'd be working with. So that's average about 900 people, you know. So in the beginning, I'm sure it'll be a lot less. But once people realize that we're there and we're, you know, reliable, we should be able to pick up quite a few customers and keep it rolling pretty good and then add more buses as needed, you know.
Well, Darren, you guys, the city council has the ball in their court, so to speak.
Well, we haven't even brought it up. We're still waiting for Mr. Grimm. I mean, like I said, when we get a proposal that we could start to go ahead and make comment
Yeah,
on,
I think
but we have not brought it to the council's attention yet because of the fact that it's just not ready yet. So, but yes, that would be the next step. But we think that also that this group, I mean, with it being listed on your agenda for
yeah.
20 years, 25 years, as you said, good place to start, to go ahead and maybe if this committee eventually would make a recommendation to the council if we get that far.
Very good, yes. Well, thank you very much. I don't, any other questions?
All right, I
Lots of
appreciate you
questions.
guys' time.
We got,
Anybody else have any more questions?
I'll ask you a couple of things over this way.
Yeah.
I think it's been on the agenda for as long as I've been here, which isn't nearly that long. However, I think it's a defined need in the community to say, hey, we've got elderly, we've got, plenty of people that need those services.
Sure.
I'd be interested, as you kind of develop this plan to bring to city council or to this group one way or the other, some idea of defined routes or, to say, hey, these are stops. And I don't know if you get public input on where those need to be or wherever, or if you make those up on your own. But obviously people are looking to get to the grocery store, they're looking to get to medical appointments, and I think a lot of the people in the city of Washington have access to get that. I think sometimes we're a regional draw for those hospital services, those shopping services.
Sure.
So it may be outside of the traditional loop of downtown that you might be looking at. But I'd be interested to see if you can kind of help define what that bus service would look like. Obviously, the costs are going to be important to the city if they want to participate or not. So, but really kind of homing in what that service might look like would give us a much better idea of what it is that we would be saying, we want to get behind or don't, so.
Well, thank you. I'll get right on that, get some cost analysis done and stuff like that to find out what I can. And as I said, I gotta keep the cost low because everything, I can't come here and say, well, I gotta charge $10. If I did it now, when I started my company in Sullivan, I started with no financial help at all. I did it all myself, and I had to go with what I thought was right.
Sure.
I thought would keep my company flowing. And some people say it's too high, some people say it's too low, but that's what everybody wants. And the main thing is with the income, the people's income and everything, especially on disability and social services. We got to keep those costs low for people to go to work, to do what they need to do. But I will make up some plans and give it to that gentleman right there.
Great, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Greg.
Good, sir. Again, any other business?
I've got two items, Bill. One is, Stephen, do you know, I guess, the next where we're at with the proposed safety improvements on Highway 100 at those intersections, or what the next steps are now that the public hearing is over with? Or we had that public workshop?
I mean, it's still an unfunded need, so
Okay.
if it could show up on the STIP when that is released in July, but we don't know that until it's released. But it is a tier 1, which is the highest tier of unfunded need.
I thought I saw it on the map for the 2050 plan on that as well, too. Or at least it was identified as a thing on the map, so, okay.
The most recent fatality resulting from that safety issue at that intersection is heightened as well.
At St. John's.
There's been a lot of different surveying going on at that intersection. I don't know whether that was a result of the accident and the fatality.
Yeah, they do a pretty finite analysis of those fatalities. I'm sure Representative Marquardt had a little history behind stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trooper.
Yes.
We take a look at that, and actually, we were looking at that as a special fund, but it did not make the budget this go around. So we'll continue to work, and hopefully it'll hit the STIP.
That's the key.
That's important areas there where dangerous intersections are.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, Kyle. We appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here and try to figure out what needs I might be able to help with.
Very good. Thank you.
The second item, Bill, is just an introduction. This is Charles Stankovic, join us today. Charles has been working in our engineering department for, how long have you been with us now? 4 years. 4 years, there we go. And Charles has been named interim city engineer, just in the meantime. That's not we're still advertising for the public works director position or whatever, but we need to go ahead and establish some other leadership down in the engineering department, and Charles is going to be your interim city engineer. So he'll be joining us for these meetings and other meetings where needed, so.
Very good. Welcome. We look forward to you.
That's, I knew you'd steal that from me before I even got it.
Charles, we look forward to your new ideas and whatever. Welcome, and I hope you can join our meeting. It's important to have the engineering viewpoint, as we know with Darren and in the past, so.
He was behind a lot of the engineering work that John reported on at your meeting, so
Gotcha.
there you go, there's your guy.
Fantastic, fantastic. He's hitting it.
That's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Anything else? Looks like our next meeting is May the 30th. Tuesday. And that's Memorial Day, so it's going to be moved, or it's going to be moved till Tuesday instead of Monday, because the last Monday is the,
Tuesday, May 30th.
Tuesday, May 30th is the next meeting. Little change. Anything else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you all for, good moving.
Busy.